Another episode of the Successful Driver podcast presented by Aero Truck Sales. Thank you again for listening, watching, wherever you are consuming this show, whether you're out in a truck or sitting at home. We appreciate you so much for spending some time with us today. And we got somebody here again from DEX Heavy Duty Parts, Will Proctor, Regional Account Sales with them. Will, my man, appreciate you spending some time with us.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. I'm excited. A couple other coworkers have done this already. They've had good things to say. So I'm excited to throw my 2 cents out there.
Yeah, we love getting all these different perspectives, especially just from you guys too. It's been cool to get, the full gambit of perspectives over at DEX, and we'll get into your perspective too on the sales side. But I want to ask you first, just a little bit about your background, your history here in the trucking industry, how you got started and all of that good stuff.
Yeah, man. So I've been with DEX for right at 2 years. Previous to that, I've had a number of different sales roles. But really, truck driving and the trucking industry's kind of hit home a lot with me. My stepdad was a driver for about 40 years.
Wow.
I've got a couple of uncles and even an aunt who are drivers, cousins. So a lot of family history. A couple of our really close friends are long haul drivers. So in the industry, just a couple of years, but been around trucks and the trucking industry for, well, I'm 38, so all of my life, I guess.
So I want to follow up with that. What was it like being the son or having a parent that was in the industry for the entirety of your existence?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't bad. He didn't do a lot of long haul stuff. Once my mom and I came into the picture, I was about 10. It was a lot of local stuff. So he wasn't gone overnight, but I will say, it was hard on him physically. He actually doesn't drive anymore. He just turned 72. He's been out for about 10 or 12 years because of some health issues. So a lot of the things that are happening in the industry now are really good. And I know we'll get into that later, but are really good, kind of focusing on that health aspect of the driver. Talking to him, and I was telling him some of the things that are going on. He was like, man, if we had that 30 years ago, I'd probably still be driving. But yeah, I mean, it was good. I mean, I got to ride with them some and see different parts of the East Coast and stuff. So that was really cool. But yeah, it was really cool.
That's awesome. And it's interesting. You're right. Just to see that perspective of, how, a driver-centric approach has evolved. And that's so critical to where we're now in the industry, is making sure we're taking care of these guys. Because, someone's got to, right?
Yeah.
So we always ask this question, and I'm very interested to hear your perspective here, because you've been, you've had a bird, not a bird's eye, but a real good view of a successful driver. It sounds like, as long as he's been in the industry. What makes a successful driver, in your opinion?
And I actually asked him this. Just kind of doing a little background for this. And one of the things that he told me was mindfulness, making sure that you're mindful. So being mindful of everything. These drivers out there, this is their profession. They're experts at this. But, people flying up and down the road, you have to be mindful of the cars and the other trucks, mindful of your equipment, mindful of your loads. That was one thing he just kept saying, is you always have to be mindful of everything that's going on around you. We're driving our trucks or our cars, and, we don't think about the fact that these guys have 80,000 pounds behind them sometimes, and that if one little thing goes wrong, that's a catastrophe for everybody. Yeah. So, and then also going through the different states, being mindful of the laws and all that kind of stuff. So that was, again, I asked him just to get some input, and he said, man, I was always mindful of everything going on around me. He had one accident in 40 years.
Wow.
So, that's a pretty good record, and it wasn't anything major. So, that's a pretty good record, but he always told me, keep your head on a swivel and always be mindful of what's going on around you. So
I don't think people realize how layered the truck driver experience is, because you kind of say that attention to detail,
Oh yeah.
the personal relationships, industry expertise,
Yep.
being just safety. I mean, there's so many layers to this. And that's such a
Oh yeah.
good, I mean, I like the way he kind of, put that as, mindfulness. That's a really good way of putting it. Okay. So I want to ask you, Will, your role in the truck driver story, how are you over at DEX helping truck drivers find success?
Yeah. So, we work mainly with the dealer groups that face the truck drivers and the owner operators, or the fleets. But how we really fit in there is, and I took some notes, so I may look down
Yo,
while we're
you're
talking.
good.
But
We don't. It's all
yeah,
good.
but we really try to provide the best possible product and customer service we can to that dealer group that provides that to the fleet. Now we do some retail sales. It's very minimal through DEX. So the owner operator can come through DEX and buy from us, but we stand behind our products. We try to offer the best product out there in the industry. And I really think that we do, whether it is our renovated or remanufactured options, whether it's new body parts that we do, surplus options, whatever it is. We know that we have a great product, and we know that we have great customer service, and we have great people who are standing behind it. I mean, our guys out in the shop that are working 10, 12 hours a day, those guys are just like the drivers. They're experts in what they do. They know exactly what they're doing. There are hundreds of years worth of experience out in that shop, all combined. So we really put a lot of ourself into that. And, when I first came into this, I spent a couple of days out in the shop, and I asked these guys, why do you do this? Why do you do that? And the answer was usually pretty uniform and the same, because, I don't want to put that transmission in my truck, if I don't do it right. So why would I put it in somebody else's? I don't want to put that, that hood on my truck and it not look perfect. Why would I want to put that on somebody else's? So, really just making sure that we provide the best possible product, for that end user.
So you've kind of laid a lot out, but if there was one thing, if you could boil, no, it's great. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. But if you could let everyone know one thing about DEX, just boil it down to one. What's the one thing you want people to know when they're listening to this about DEX Heavy Duty Parts?
Yeah. Really, it's everyone at DEX, and I believe we have 80 some employees. I'm not 100%, but everyone at DEX, again, as I said before, we're not going to put something in your vehicle or on your vehicle that we wouldn't put on ours. So we put a lot of passion and a lot of, ourselves into our work. I go out and I see dealers, but I also see drivers, and I meet with fleets and things like that. So when I'm out there, I want to make sure that I'm having that relationship, but we put 100% of ourselves into our work every single day. And it's very much customer focused and customer driven, making sure that we are taking the best care of not only the dealer that we're face to face with, but that end user, because that has a direct impact on not only the industry, but on DEX itself.
One of the things that we've heard from a lot of different people is just the idea of transparency within this industry and how critical it is. And it's something Aero's really pushing for. And it's something a lot of other companies are pushing for as well. How important is transparency for DEX?
Oh, it's very important. We on our site, if anyone goes to our site, then they're able to look and they're able to see our warranty information. They're able to see, our renovation, everything that we do to our different things that we renovate. So transparency is very important to us. You have a list of our products, our services, and things of that nature. And we tell people all the time, if you want to know something, just ask us. We're not going to hide it. We're not going to lie to you about it. We're going to tell you up front. That's one thing that really drove me to the Volvo Group and to DEX. Is one, it's a family. We're small, right? I mean, as in the whole grand scheme of things of Volvo, we're small, but everybody is very upfront and everybody is very open about what we do and how we do it. And that's how we take that also to our customer base. Is we're going to tell you what we do and how we do it, and you know, and we're not going to beat around the bush, I guess, with it.
So it's been a crazy couple of years here in the
Oh yeah,
trucking industry, to say the least, and I mean this country in general.
yeah.
What changes? What disruptors have you kind of seen from your perspective in this industry the last couple of years?
Um, you know, really, uh, it's freight pickup, freight delivery has kind of been an issue because of lack of drivers. You know, I mean, that's what every time that we talk to a freight company, it's, you know, hey, we're trying to get there, we're trying to get these things, but there's a lack of drivers. There's a large need for drivers out in the industry. Um, you know, the cost of shipping has gone up, and that has a lot to do with the fuel pricing. You know, fuel pricing over the past 6-8 months has skyrocketed. So, you know, we're paying more now than we were this time last year to ship the same thing. So, you know, those are probably two of the biggest things. I will say, you know, we've got some great partners, some great fleet partners, and that we work with that. You know, they try to keep us apprised of things that are coming down the line. You know, they try to be very transparent with us as well. But you know, it's hard for not only them but for us to really give a great quote time for somebody. Hey, we're going to get it to you in 3 or 4 days, but you know, then we run across again. There's driver shortages. There's issues like that are going on, and sometimes it's 6 or 7 days to get a piece of freight out. So, and that's difficult. That's difficult on everybody.
For sure. For sure. Well, Will, I appreciate your time so much. It's been great getting to hear from you. Thank you
Yeah,
for doing this show with us today.
yeah, man. Thank you very much. I appreciate it, Kent.
Yeah, it's been fun getting to know all of y'all at DEX, and that is another episode with
Thanks, man.
DEX of the Successful Driver Podcast. And we appreciate y'all for spending some time with us. And again, thanks so much to Will. We'll catch you later.